Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaminsky.
Here.
Mr. DeSarno.
Here.
Mrs. Jeffrey.
Here.
Mayor Morgan.
Here.
Mr. Munoz.
Present.
Mrs. McKnight. Here. Mrs. Belisca.
Here.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a public meeting of Borough Council, Borough of Providence, County of Union, State of New Jersey. Adequate notice has been given in accordance with PL 1975. Chapter 231, annual notice of revision was made in conformance with Section 13 of the Act. Okay, tonight I have to read the appointments, and we can approve them on the consent agenda. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, Library Board, Angela Wilson for a 5-year term, Perry Scopoletti for a 5-year term, and Stephen Vidal for an unexpired 5-year term. All of them are unexpired. Okay, Humbert Powell, a resident for the SID Board of Directors. Beautification, Gail Cronin, Deborah Bresselier, Clevia Esposito, Perry Everton, Roxanne Jacalone, Alexandra Lorerio, and Nancy Valerio. Diversity Committee, Sunil Abral, Peggy Broder, Lynn Seller, Ali Cohen, Adir Coronado, Gianna Coronado, Jose Garcia, Leslie Hall, she resigned, so take that one out. Mary Housel, Elena Cusid, Lorena Curie, Laura Marana, Christine Morgan, Kevin Nixon, Elise Rogodzensky, Mona Shah, Mary Walters, Cecilia Wong, Jen Zhu, Chandra Yanzu. Emergency Management, Jennifer Aranda, Megan Avalone, Dr. Paul Cornwell, Bernadette Cacaro, Susan DeLuise, Mitch Erickson, Dan Henn, Keely Heyman, Mike Piana, William Hofling, Alan Morgan, Ralph Piano, Cindy Reese, Jay Richter, Robert Robertson, Jessica Short, Diane Wolf, and Vincent Wyko. New Providence Alliance, Harrison Clewell, Mike Iacovelli, Liz Lee, James Madden, Debbie Merrick, Deborah Moonies, Joe Narciso, Patrick O'Keefe, Ralph Parmigiani, Joseph Pergola, Tara Smith, and Melissa Tassi. Public Arts Committee, Mary Jean Canziani, Liliana Drake, Jill Lefevre, Denise Moser, Arlene Reagan, Louise Wheeler. Sustainability, Montana Chiel, Harrison Clewell, Suki Grover, John Kane, Robert Keller, Jim and Lou, Paula McGraw, Glenn Meyer, Kathleen Pellis, Humbert Powell, Douglas Sullivan, Joe Testa, and Donna Zane. Okay. Now we'll go to approval of minutes. Wendy said she found one that we missed. So, August 17th. Have a motion, please.
Second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
No, so be it. November 23rd. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. December 7th.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. December 21st.
So moved.
I wasn't at that meeting, so I can't vote.
Okay.
Neither can Lisa.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. Okay, we have correspondence from Bill Dunscombe, resignation from the Board of Adjustment. Sorry to see Bill go, but he's a professor at Union College, and he got extra duties, and he cannot commit anymore, but we want to thank him for his service. Jeffrey Namick, about Union Avenue speed limit enforcement. As of 2021, we had 99 enforcement details just on Union Avenue. There were 250 stops and 161 summonses. As you know, we're doing a street a week of the heavy traveled roadways that we are enforcing. And I know some people aren't happy because they've been doing enforcement on a lot of these so-called cut-through roads. Okay, Doctors Carol Lee and Brian Labby about return to full school normal days during the COVID surge. We have no jurisdiction or authority to say anything about the school district. And technically, they report to the Department of Education. So, but I know Dr. Michelli and the school board are well aware of everybody's concerns. Okay, Michelle Petrino about Our House, Our Run 4-miler race, which will be held on May 14th, and we'll have upcoming information on that. Union County Commissioners, their meeting schedule. Doreen Priatori about the Me Lane Bridge. Talked to the engineer. The bridges are being taken care of. I guess they're in the construction phase.
They're actually in production at this point.
Right. These were our top priority after Hurricane Ida. And I hate to say it because everybody's using the same excuse about supply chain. But they just can't get the materials to build these structures. But they, as I hear, they are being constructed now, and when they constructed, they're going to be able to lay the bridge right in there. So I heard late February maybe, God willing.
They're in production, so as
Yeah.
soon as they won't give us a timeline at this point.
Right. Now, I do want to bring up the Commerce Street Bridge. We are having difficulties there. Apparently, that bridge was not given permission by DEP back in 1965, 64. I know the engineer asked me if I would sign an affidavit saying that that bridge was there at that time. And I remember as a kid that bridge was there because there was actually a hockey pond back there. We used to play hockey, us kids from Lincoln against Roberts. So I know that bridge was there. So hopefully we'll be able to get that thing. It's in design phase now, and we can get this thing approved by DEP and get it back. I know it is a safety hazard at Roberts. We're doing all we can. In fact, I think we talked, I know I talked to John Bramnick about it, and I know Michelle Matsakudis, our new assemblywoman, she'll be on it. So we'll get that done as soon as possible. State of New Jersey, DEP, their annual fee report and comment period. And another one from DEP about suspected hazardous substance discharge, and that's a removal of an oil tank on Fairmount Avenue. Any comments?
Do we have to give permission for that 5K or the 4K or the 4-miler
I don't think we.
or the routes?
Yeah, we do. I don't know if, did Sean get all the routes and everything? He did? Okay. I have no problem with it. Anybody here? No?
Okay.
Okay.
I think they wanted their first route or first choice was out of Floral, right?
Yeah.
Starting
First
in-
choice was out of Floral, but it would have also been back-to-back with the 5K sharing network.
Okay.
And it would have affected the same set of residents. So we asked them if they could move it, which now it has it coming out of the Morris Union
Yeah.
Georgia and around a different route.
That's fine.
Thank you. Okay. Council Business Administration. Diane, this is your first one.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2022-049 is a resolution of the Borough of New Providence authorizing the purchase of electricity supply services for public use on an online auction website.
Thank you. You want to explain a little bit about the auction, Bernadette, because it is very important. And we go through this every couple years, right?
Every 2 or so.
Yeah.
So the resolution actually allows for us to purchase, tomorrow will be the auction, and as long as the pricing in the auction falls within the parameters listed in the document, we will go ahead and purchase the electricity. If not, we'll have to go back out to auction at another date. The current contract we're under goes through February. So there's a little bit of wiggle room, but
Okay.
trying to get it in.
It is an interesting process where different energy companies bid, and, you know, it's a good deal.
Is this a reverse auction?
It's, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So there'll be several bidders online, trying
Yeah.
to get our business. So we're hoping that, it's the lower end of this.
So they bid against each other to give us
Yes.
the lower rate, okay.
Yeah.
It's one of the many things we do to
Right.
fiscally, conservatively plan in our budget for such a big item such as electricity. We want to get the best price available, so
It is an amazing process.
it is an amazing process to do that.
Okay, community activities. Pete?
Yes, Mayor, Resolution 2022-50 is a salary resolution to hire instructors for spring recreation programs. They include tennis, ping pong, track, Bollywood dance, and crocheting. Sounds good.
I'd ask what Bollywood dance is, but
You know, crocheting?
with these sausage fingers? Okay, finance, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2022-051 is a resolution authorizing payment of the attached bills payable list in the amount of $3,252,547.06. This is our payable list. Some of the significant items on this are our Board of Ed January payment, which is $2,397,904. We're also making payment on our first quarter 2022 payment to dispatch of $177,912. State of New Jersey's health payment, premium payment for our health benefits, $102,304. Library, January payment, $85,585, and a payment, initial payment to Top Line Construction of $114,433, which is payment number 1 for the Woodbine Circle improvements, which are being paid for through a New Jersey Department of Transportation grant.
Okay. Public safety, we have a limousine license for New Providence Car and Limo. Application was reviewed and by the police department. Raffle request, RA 1158 and 59 are for the New Providence High School PTSA, and they've been properly prepared and reviewed by the,
Actually, I'm sorry, Wendy, I'm going to have to recuse myself from voting on that since I'm the signer on both of those licenses.
you are.
And I'm named
I
on
am
it,
so.
and Diane as well, so, sorry.
Okay,
PTA.
all right.
All right, 2 more PTAs and we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, resolution 52 is for Sourcewell Axon Enterprise, and what that is for approving a 5-year contract for Axon Enterprises for data storage for the, and licenses for the police body cameras. And Resolution 53 is adopting an ordinance adopting a complete streets policy. And by doing that, it's, the policies are appropriate and applicable to the Borough of New Providence. This is a requirement so we maintain our gold status for the safe routes to schools. And I see you here, Donna. Do you have anything to say besides that? No? I want to thank you for all the work that you do on that. Thank you. Okay, Public Works, Lisa.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2022-54 is a resolution approving partial payment number 1 for Top Line Construction Corp. in the amount of $114,433.25. That is for the NJ fiscal year 2021 various streets project. This is, like I said, partial payment number 1. It's associated with drainage work on Woodcrest Circle. Resolution 2022-55 is a resolution appointing Jose Hernandez as building maintenance night custodian of the Public Works Department of the Borough of New Providence. He was hired to be in the Municipal Center. And that's it.
Okay. Capital review. Pete?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2022-56 is a resolution approving partial payment number 3 for Dakota Excavating Contractor, Inc. in the amount of $5,932 for the project commonly known as Grove Field Renovations Project. Payment number 3 represents the final payment for Dakota Excavating Contractor for their work associated with this project. That's it.
Okay. At this time, we have discussion items and the Providence High School banners. Do you guys want to say anything, or?
Do you need us to come out there?
Sure.
Or, too casual?
Nah, don't worry about it.
Sure. Well, thank you. Thank you for hearing us too. You all received the letter that we sent in December. I think that pretty much outlines really our, our wish to partner with you to try to bring forth, I was hoping more of a tradition, not just a one-time ask. And I know the last couple of years it has been a special ask that has been granted a special request. And we were hoping this year to try to, again, as we are part of the senior class committee, trying to highlight the seniors in another opportunity in downtown. In the last couple of years, unbeknownst to what the backstory has been around that, it really has been a highlight of the town to see these smiling faces, especially during such a difficult time. And, the premise here is why don't we try to take something positive out of COVID, right, and make this more of a tradition. But understanding, and we'll hear your points in terms of the costs, and certainly we can't bear the whole cost. We were willing to partner on this, so we'd certainly love to hear your perspective. But that was really it. It was just an opportunity to highlight the achievements of this class, really tying in with the town. We know the real estate in this town is heavily focused on why, and it's because of our school system, right, and all the achievements of our students at New Providence High School and the other, other schools, magnet schools and such. So that was the primary purpose of us asking for this banner display again this year. And again, not knowing, I hadn't known the backstory prior to coming to this project, but just as a taxpayer and as a citizen and as a mom, it has been wonderful to be able to see the past couple of years of the senior class students just shown around the town. And I know I had other folks just mentioned to me, wow, that's really special that your town does that. Yes, we recognize our heroes and our veterans, young and old, right? And we recognize our young people as well. So I just asked you to consider that, and again, we're just asking for the partnership to see whether or not it would be something, again, not a one-time ask, but to see if there might be something that, can become more of a tradition. So I don't know if you guys have anything else.
Well, I think you really covered it.
Perfect, thank you.
Listen, we all like seeing the kids up on the poles. The problem is, the borough cannot use taxpayer monies to fund outside organizations. We just can't do it. When they were put up previously, it was done during the peak of COVID, and I guess the PTAs or whatever paid for everything. We just can't, we can't use taxpayer money to do that. We can't do it to fund any other organization except governmental organizations. So,
sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Just to be clear, I mean, the PTA did pay for the year of 2020.
Yes, it
And the
did.
parents paid for the year of 2021, just to be clear.
Yeah.
And I guess obviously I see your point, of course, so I think,
Well, it's illegal for us to
fair
fund.
enough, but,
So,
fair enough, but obviously parents are willing to pay for the service. And they did last year and they're willing to pay for it. And I guess what we were just asking is, understandably, are you saying you just can't do it at all, or you can do it for a fee?
we cannot do it.
Okay, well then that answers my question.
You know,
Okay.
not that there,
Okay.
listen,
I misunderstood
I'm
then, sorry.
sympathetic. Now, if somebody wants to put up the money for the DPW
That's my,
to-
okay, there we go.
to do it,
Yes, of course.
I mean, we can,
Well, that was my next question, and I
Yeah.
guess that was,
and I think it was $2,880.
right, and we're here today to ask, is there any way to compromise that number?
No, because we cannot use taxpayer money to do that. It's illegal for us. And I'd love to do it, but we just can't.
So just a tiny bit of history. Back in 2020, the idea came about from the principal at the high school, realizing that the senior class of 2020 really lost the last half of their senior year. They had no prom, they had no project graduation, they had no senior award night, they had no senior breakfast.
You don't have to tell me.
They really had-
I know.
No,
There we live
you know, and
Trust
so
It was awful.
the principal approached the PTA and the athletic boosters, and we went music boosters, somebody, so we went.
Three of us.
We went one-third, and we made sure that there was a banner for every student. We gave parents an option if they wanted names and pictures, just pictures, no names, and all of that. So we had every single senior covered that way. We did pay for it that year because it was extraordinary times. Last year, they came back because the class of 2021, was impacted throughout a couple of the years. And they came to us again. We said yes again to that. But at that point, then the parents were paying for the banners. And the price was escalated to put in a little bit of a fundraising element. At that point, not every senior was represented. So then we kind of got a little away from that. My concern is that if we do this again and increase the price again to cover the money, it's going to really become an exclusionary thing where not every senior is represented. That's my concern,
We don't
you know
want
what I
to
mean?
we don't want to raise the cost of it either.
Exactly,
It's too much. It's too much
exactly.
to ask.
I
That's
think,
why.
I think last year, we were under the impression that it was gonna be done the same way as it was the previous year. We never knew that it was a fundraiser. If it was a fundraiser, we never would have been able to do it, because we are by law not allowed to fundraise for outside organizations. So, that's where,
Okay.
you
Fair
know,
enough.
but I think that every one of us support,
without a
the
doubt.
kids and whatever they do. So,
Right, so I just want to make sure that we're clear. So if by chance a future class comes forth and they want to pay the $28.80 or whatever the price
Whatever-
is at that point in time, the council will go ahead and approve that.
well, we look at it.
Meaning that the
We
parents...
really don't want to, because, you know what, if we do it for one, it sets a precedent for somebody else. Let's say, the PAL, they win a championship and they want to put their stuff up on the poles.
Yeah, we were just hoping the district school would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you would treat
We
it
don't
a
really
little
view-
bit wow.
We don't
Why
view
don't-
them as the same as the
Yeah.
graduating seniors,
No,
But we get it. I know.
But we just
Yeah.
want to make sure that we have the information, because it probably will come up again.
Yeah, we're just trying to think forward.
ahead.
Future,
Yeah, no,
like,
no, hey,
we have to
listen.
consider that as well. Whatever we do now is important for years to come. And
Right.
that's why we're here.
Oh,
We're trying to
definitely.
think ahead.
No,
so-
I-
It is possible that a future class may want to put out that $3,000. You just never really know, so.
Another wrinkle that comes into play is that we don't actually own the brackets,
right?
right? They're owned by the BPA, and I think 10 brackets cost, is it $1,000?
Yeah.
They're very, so they pay for that. We don't,
And every time you put something up and down,
right.
And I think another, and I love the idea, believe me, I mean, I have a senior, and I love the past 2 years walking downtown, and all the arguments I think are correct. Like, I love walking downtown. I think it does draw people into the downtown to see them. It's a beautiful time of year, right? And everybody's just walking around, and it's lovely. But also, what we have to consider too is the fact that it comes right on the back of the veterans going up. And so it's a short time frame that those senior banners would be up.
Well, we prefer any time over short time, so
Yeah.
we'll take any we can get.
It's just, I think it would be like a 2-week time period.
Yeah, we did it last year though, and it was great,
It
people
was
loved
Yeah,
it,
and-
so.
and I would concur with that. I mean, I first of all, thank you for coming tonight and taking time out of your busy night to come. I thought your letter was eloquent as far as all the points that you raised, being good for our business community as well as being a way to celebrate something that's so important to this community. And, I think, hey, listen, it's a terminal accomplishment. It's the end accomplishment of our students. And, I think that as the mayor has articulated, if that fee was paid, it would be something to come in front of council, and we would definitely talk about it.
I mean, is there any way that we could do something over by the high school?
That's our plan, we got a plan.
Yeah,
Came here first, just
yeah,
check, you know, but.
kind of thing would be like
Come on,
really
kinda
pretty
be-
to come into graduation. But anything really to highlight them, and like Pete said, it's the culmination of all their years here. It is just a really nice tribute to them. If there's a way that we could just do it.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. And thank you for what you do for the kids, Okay. Any other discussion items? Okay, Council, oh, look at this, new format, huh? Okay, public safety. I just want to say that I brought up the Street a Week program that the police are doing. But I also want to give you an update. We're having a hard time getting signage from the state contractor. They were supposed to come in January 24th. I don't know if they came in.
They have not.
They have not.
The company is suffering through COVID, and they got a new delivery date of next week.
Okay, so that's where that is. Bernadette and I spoke to the engineer where for the rapid flashers over on Balcom and Central. Okay, they should, the engineer has signed off on them. April, okay. The mayors of a number of surrounding towns with the chiefs of police had a Zoom meeting yesterday, and there has been a rash of car thefts in the area. New Providence is on the very low end of it, but Summit, Westfield, Chatham's, they were all, Springfield was another one, Milburn, big rash. And 95% of them are people not locking their cars and leaving the key fob in the car. Please, please, lock your car and take the key fob in. They're finding these cars down in Newark. There was a lot of discussion, what can we do? Probably the only thing that we can really do is educate people. Now, the police have been putting out, public service messages. They've been on all sorts of media, and most of the people in New Providence have complied. So they're looking for the high-end cars still. The Lexus, Infinitis, Mercedes, Beamers, any high-end car, these guys are going through the neighborhoods, just pulling the handles. Anything that's open, they're gonna check. So please, please, know that this is going on, and it is, it's organized crime. That's what it is. And they're usually juveniles that are doing it because they know if they get caught, there's not gonna be any penalties. So, let's be a little proactive. The other thing, we had a meeting with the shared dispatch board, and, as you know, we have a new director, Keely Heyman, and, they're gonna start a, operations board. So, hopefully, we'll see, big changes in the shared dispatch, and Bernadette is the chairman this year, so I know, we're on the case, so, okay. And that's all I have. Let's go to, Matt.
Okay, so let's start with finance. Actually, we just got our tentative budget timeline tonight. So we'll be kicking off budget season, right, next week or so. Just wanted to remind everybody, the borough is in the process of closing its books, right, for the year 2021, preparing its annual financial statements, which gets filed, and that really starts the process. So we have our timeline. I haven't looked at it. We'll go through that, and then looks like we'll start our meetings starting next month. It's like February, so that's good. Board of Health. We had a meeting about 2 weeks ago, so some of this information might be a little outdated now, because as you know, things are rapidly changing in the world of COVID. But the projections 2 weeks ago were showing that we reached our peak in the surge, and we were slowing down, so we could see that's happened in the numbers. Through January to date, we have well over 300 plus cases, right? Testing has been very difficult during the surge, but it is expecting to get better. I think it may have eased up. I'm not sure at this point. The Board of Health is working a lot with the schools, speaking a lot with a lot of New Providence parents directly, giving them guidance, but we just want to make sure that people understand that they do not make the determination on whether or not to open or close the schools, right? That's not the Board of Health's job. New Jersey adopted the updated CDC timeline on quarantining and isolation, right? 5 days after isolation if you're asymptomatic. Definition of a quarantine has changed. I don't know exactly what it is. Please consult your CDC guidelines. But it has created some pain points for our school nurses, right? Because there's, if a person's vaccinated and if they're asymptomatic and how many days they have to be quarantined. And so they have to do all the work between when they have boosted, how many days they have to be out of the school, et cetera. So it's been pretty overwhelming for our school nurses. Some statistics: 59% age 5 to 11 have at least one dose of vaccine. 56% eligible for boosters have their booster. They'd like to see that up to 80-85%. That doesn't include, obviously, anyone who's had COVID. There is a booster clinic at Saltbrook School on January 28th for all children 12 and over. And just some statistics on some of the positive cases I thought you'd find interesting. 71% were between the age of 18 and 65, and these are estimates. 16% were between 6 and 18. Roughly 6% between 0 and 5, and 5% 65 and over. So you can see like 87, close to 90% were kids and everyone younger than 65. So people out and about, right? Hospitalizations were low considering the number of cases, which is really good. They do lag behind hospitalizations a couple of weeks, so they're continue to keep an eye on those. I think I heard there were 2 at that point of the meeting. Someone asked about masks and are they required in our local businesses? They are not. Masks are up to the individual employers, although they are mandatory for all healthcare facilities. So that's my Board of Health update. Planning Board, we had a meeting and we discussed signs. So I remember a while back we had brought up signs in town. This was pre-COVID, right? There's a lot of businesses, multiple signs. Some signs were out of ordinances and whatnot. We had a planning board meeting at that time, and we had a couple businesses come in, give us some feedback. We asked for more COVID structs. We kind of tabled it, right? We picked it back up. What the planning board did was they went out to all surrounding towns, and they put together a matrix of the sign ordinances from all the surrounding towns and did a comparison between New Providence and all the surrounding towns. And we were very consistent with all surrounding towns. Our ordinance was was not out of whack. Like I said, it was very consistent, and after we reviewed it, we had basically no changes to our existing ordinance. So we wanted to look at it to see if, you know, in today's current day, maybe we need to update our ordinance to you know, current standards, right? Technology changes, things change of that nature. And so there was wording that we found in another town's ordinance that was more in line with current day, right? LED lighting, for example, you know, wasn't, you know, was as prevalent as it is today. So we're gonna recommend an update to the ordinance to change some wording on certain lighting, right? So the planning board's gonna type up a memo. We should be seeing that memo at a meeting either next month or next meeting or the week one after that. I think the idea is for us to review that memo and if we approve or make the amendment to the ordinance and then kick it back and adopt it. And then from there, it's on the borough to go out to the businesses that are out of compliance and let them know that they're out of compliance with the ordinance.
Okay. Let's see, Pete.
Thank you, Mayor. Capital review, as Councilman Kaminsky had mentioned, the budget process or the finance budget process is kicked off, the capital review being a part of that. There's a target meeting date for that team of February 1st, so we'll have our first meeting there. Community activities, I believe we have a meeting on Friday to go over, to get an update from a community activity standpoint. Shared services, we'll look to start or schedule our first meeting on the calendar year. And with regard to sustainability, we had our first meeting last week. Really just kind of an initial meeting for the team for this year. Some of the items discussed, many of them, another version of what was done in the prior year, that being, you know, the Green Day and the Free Cycle Fest. The team is discussing possibly doing that again, or looking to do that again, and then, you know, incorporating some of the learnings and every year making it better and better and better. Tree sapling distribution, which we do each year, and is met with a large amount of success. The tree saplings usually are all gone within a couple hours. Sustainable New Jersey certification for, I think it's like 8 years running, where we've been bronze certified, if I'm not mistaken, and continuing to get recertified. And then finally, the team felt as though we could play a role in helping to educate and help support communication around the state plastic bag ban. So helping that communication. So those are some of the agenda items that were initially discussed at the first meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, that's one thing that I know Cindy sent something up with the Business Association of the plastic bag ban. That's going to affect a lot of people, so we're going to have to get that word out. And in fact, I talked to Chief Casaway today. He said, how is this thing supposed to be enforced? The enforcement piece is very vague. Yeah. So she's gonna drill down into it a little more. So, okay. I mean, you know, if somebody's bought plastic bags, do they get to use them up? And, you know, who knows? But we got to drill down into this. Okay. Let's see, Nadine.
Thank you, Mayor. Business and Professional Association, I haven't had the opportunity to meet with them yet, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm learning about the BPA and whatever I can do to help out there. Diversity Committee, Diane and I are going to be setting up a meeting with the chairs, so with Laura and Sunil, to review the events coming up for 2022. We anticipate them probably coming to the next council meeting to go through all of that with us. Alliance, we had a meeting, our first meeting of the year was a week ago, actually 2 weeks ago, tomorrow. 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry. And they have several projects currently underway. They're doing the Consent 101 program and the health classes for the seniors. That's really to help them get ready for college. So that'll be going on the next 2 working periods at the high school and health. Every 15 minutes, planning is in progress. That program will be held at the end of May. They're also coming up with a subcommittee of the Alliance, a little group of them, they're going to be working on trying to come up with programs to reach a wider audience than just our students. They're looking to reach the young adults. We appear to have a lot of issues with substance abuse at those ages, mental health issues, and we want to try to come up with some programs to just reach out to them and engage them in a positive community way. So more information will be coming on that. And that's it for me.
Okay. Rob?
So at that Board of Health meeting, someone asked our borough physician, Dr. Nelson, if he's had a chance to prescribe a lot of those antiviral pills that I think Merck or Pfizer is making. And he said no, because they're impossible to get, right? So he said the number is still very low, but I'm sure, I think once they're more available, they'll be widely prescribed. But other than that, I had a question for Bernadette. Whatever happened with that emergency call button that we're supposed to get from Johnson Communications?
I can check with Chief Gazaway.
Okay.
She was working directly with them, and I'm not sure where we are with it at this point.
Okay.
I'll find out for you.
Thanks.
Okay, Lisa?
Okay, Beautification and Downtown Improvement District has nothing to report. They have not met in a while, but Communication Committee, we plan to get a meeting rolling fairly soon. A couple things on that agenda are just keeping up with the website rollout. The HHTV that we spoke about a couple meetings ago, in order to just disseminate some information through the borough, some PSAs, so we'll start working on that. Another thing we spoke about was a collaboration with some of the other committees. As the Communication Committee, we want to be able for the other committees, for instance, sustainability and the plastic bags, like how can they communicate what's going to be coming down the pike and how can we educate our residents. So communication is going to be sort of the cornerstone to some of these committees to get your information out to the residents. Public Works, I plan to meet with Ralph on that, and I'd like to set up, if possible, a tour of the different facilities. So whoever wants to join in, I will put out an open invitation to everyone to see the facility down the wastewater treatment. What's
The recycling-
the recycling center. I understand it's like a world unto itself, and I kind of look forward to learning a little bit about that.
Yeah, everybody should, if they haven't gone down there, should talk to Ralph and go down and see what the operation's about. And,
When I chaired that committee, Councilman Kaminsky and I did that,
tour?
and it's a wonderful thing to do. It really is, gives you a whole new perspective and appreciation for all the work that they do and the equipment that's involved.
Exactly. So I'll put it out there if anybody wants to try.
I think Brian recorded one of those tours years ago.
Oh, really?
That's right.
If I remember correctly, Mr. DeSarno said that he would like to go down to the wastewater treatment plant at halftime of the Super Bowl, which is coming up, so you may want to see if,
All the cages move very quickly. In flow, they measure it.
I'm leaving that one.
The library board did meet on the 18th, and so tonight, Mayor Morgan did appoint some folks to the library board, which is good because they do have quite a few openings. They have an opening right on the board for secretary, and they have a couple of trustee openings, so they're hopefully these new appointments will add some value to the library board. One of the main things to come out of that meeting was that they would like to put together a strategic plan. They want to have a big picture, right, of what it is that the folks in town are looking for, what would be helpful to them, what they could provide, maybe that they're not providing now, what are they missing. So, that kind of went back and forth a little bit, and the struggle is, well, how do you get there? How do you develop this strategic plan? So it was decided that they're going to actually employ an outside company to go ahead and do that for the library. They had gotten a couple quotes for that, and they did find a company that really just specializes in working with small local libraries, and they put together a great proposal for them. So what they're gonna do is, like I said, look big picture, define the strategy, target some goals, and then put an implementation process in place. They will, obviously talk to the staff there, but what they're looking for mostly is community input, to be able to just offer something good to the residents. Time frame on that is about 6 months, start to finish. Or for the plan, that is, not for all the implementation.
All right.
And that's it.
Okay, Diane?
Thank you. So I'll start with the Board of Education. Since our last council meeting, they've had 2 meetings, their January 6th yearly reorganization meeting, similar to what we do. And they had a meeting last night. Notably, further to Board of Health, a 4th nurse was hired in the district, and this nurse will rotate between Saltbrook, 1 day at Saltbrook, 3 days at the high school, middle school, and 1 day at AWR. The school calendars for 2022-23 and 2023-24 were approved. And Mr. Jay Richter transferred from the district office to AWR as principal effective today. And you can always go to the NP District website, and I have that if anybody needs it, for more information. The Historical Society continues to be active, engaged in the history of our town. Major active projects include historical markers. They already have 2, one at the Presbyterian Church and the second at the Lassus Worley building, which was formerly the NP Academy, our first schoolhouse in New Providence. And they're working on a 3rd one, and that will be at the Saltbox Museum. And speaking of Lassus Worley, they discovered in the cupola a bell from 1873, and they have been working to try to refurbish that bell. One of the exciting things is the Historical Society was awarded a $2,500 grant through the 2022 Union County History Grant Program to help fund this refurbishment. The Historical Society is working on the details of the project, and they will present to council in the near future. And speaking of the library, everything is interconnected. The Mason Room in the library, which is the historical archives, is open on Tuesday mornings from 10 to noon. So that's another place you can stop by to see what happens there.
I'll tell you what, I go in that place and I lose all track of time. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Diane, maybe what's the most notable change about the school calendar this year?
Oh, for the 2023
Both of them,
fiscal.
22, 23.
What they did is they decided to start prior to Labor Day, because this school year, we thought, or the school district thought that they would be able to use virtual learning days, and that's not the case, and that's not a New Providence school district. That comes from the Department of Education of New Jersey, so we have no control over that. So for the next 2 school years, there's 4 snow days involved. We'll start previous to Thursday before Labor Day. So Thursday, full day, Friday, half day, and then I think there's 1 day taken off of the February break and something else in there. Doesn't impact sports, doesn't impact start of sports, doesn't impact anything else. Some of the towns in the area have already moved to that, and that's been a discussion that's been going on for a couple of years.
It'll just be a big change for some families, so it's good to know. Everybody should realize it before Labor Day.
Okay. Bernadette?
Thank you, Mayor. Most of you may have realized if you came in the front door that we're painting the lobby. Can't remember the last time it was painted. I've been here 10 years, so it was well overdue. But we're painting in preparation for the Board of Education. We'll be putting a art display there, filled with student art that will be rotating on a periodic basis, which will be really nice. So when you come into the building, starting next Friday, you'll be able to look at all the artwork that's hung. As far as projects go, Mayor Morgan touched on a few of them. Woodbine paving, so Woodbine, we did all of the drainage work in preparation for paving in the spring. We've since learned that the gas company is going to come in and lay new pipe, and the water company may come in right behind them. So that project is going to go on for possibly a little longer than we would like it to.
Let's thank God that
Yes,
they're gonna
but
do it.
happy they're doing it while the road is open as opposed to after it's
Well,
finished.
let me ask you, since they're tearing it all up, are they gonna pay for a lot of the paving?
Yes.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
I think our current ordinance says that they have to pave at least half of, what they
Right.
are. I had asked Keith to look into, there's some municipalities that require no matter when you open the street that you have to pave curb to curb.
I like that ordinance.
So I think it's something that we should look at, especially given the amount of streets that the gas company has given us that they would like to be doing. Many of them are streets that have been recently paved, so.
Yeah, because I know, especially like Union Avenue, they just finished, we should have put a zipper in that thing
Yeah.
because they kept opening up with the water main breaks. I
So
couldn't believe it.
within, and I asked Ralph Parlapiano that when we're doing the paving, to make sure that he does reach out to the water company as well as the gas company, so that we know that
Yeah,
once it's open, and we can just do what we have to do and move on.
okay.
So Bromley Court, Woodcrest, and Fairmount is the 2022 DOT project for this year. They're in the design phase. We hope to be in construction in the early spring. Lane and the Douglas Bridges, as I mentioned before, in fabrication, but they won't commit to a date for delivery, unfortunately. Commerce Street and the Pool Bridge, both bridges suffered some damage during the storm. Obviously, one was more than the other and had to be now, but if we wait too long, they'll become an issue. So they're looking to possibly replace the bridge. So we've been kind of talking back and forth about how that would happen, and, I've kind of mentioned that we can't really be without that bridge. So it may entail building a bridge next to it and then knocking that one down so that we'd always have access over there. Document Central Crossing, that should be in April. And the HVAC system in the library currently, the Coddington room, the heater that's associated with that has stopped working. So it's a little chilly over there. We did put a new HVAC unit last spring in there. So we're hoping to be able to rework the ductwork so that it can all feed off the same unit. That's all I got.
Great, thank you. Okay, public comments, anybody wishing to address council, please give their name and address. Seeing no one, I declare the public comments closed. I need a motion for 1 through 18 minus number 10.
So moved.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mrs. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Mrs. Belisca?
Aye.
Okay, item number 10.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaminsky?
Aye.
Mr. DeSarno?
Aye.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Mrs. McKnight?
Yes.
Okay. We may be getting a significant snowstorm come this weekend. I just want to, ask everybody, be careful out there. It's cold. Hopefully we won't lose power. That could be the worst thing. But I got to tell you, the DPW has done an excellent job so far this year managing the snow. And they haven't, the snowfall hasn't come at opportune times. So I just want to give them a shout out. So can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, so be it. Thank you. And be careful out there.
It's okay.